Dr. Usman back again with another video on the topic of basics of data visualization. We are moving further in the course and starting today from our on the topic of basics of data visualization, starting from a quote from a very good quarterly magazine. So basically, to visualize the data, we first need to understand that data, because when we are visualizing any data, we are communicating back to the users, and as we have stated, the visualization need to be understandable and readable. So moving on further to the visualization topics, we will start from the definition of visualization. Previously we have studied the data visualization is combination of both data and pictorial format, that is visualization. But in specifically, if we talk about the visualization, we can have an idea that is transformation of symbolic components or symbolic items into geometric item. This is basically, we can simply convert a square has 4 sides, and when we draw it, it becomes in a form of 4 lines connected with each other. So basically, we can convert the symbolic data into geometric data, and it can be a form of visualization. Then we try to find out the best support or the best data that supports our perception or visualization. As we have studied before, we need some strong visualization that can represent our data. Not all the visualization represent our data, nor all the data can represent our required visualization. So a visualization should be related to our data, and the data should be related to our visualization. Before the advent of the computer, we were drawing the visualization by hand, but after the computer, we can easily draw the visualization through different software like TableU software, like D3 software. We have other scientific softwares. So basically, if we sum up the definition of visualization, it is conversion of symbols into geometry. It is conversion of pixels into a bigger picture that involves combination of those pixels. So every data that is coming up from an image is always in form of visualization, and every visualization is a form of data first. So moving further, if I further divide visualization on a layman perspective, it is formation of visual images. When we see a certain image through our eyes, a certain scenery through our eyes, what we are doing, we are perceiving that scenery or image in our mind. We are storing that image in our mind. Like we see different faces in our life, what we do, we save those faces in our life, in our mind, and later on when we want to remind that person, what we do, first the person face comes in our mind, then the name comes in our mind. So basically, we can store a person name and his face together in our mind, but when we try to retrieve it over the years, when we will see the person face, then we will have an idea like, I have seen this person, but I don't know his name, because names are different. Names are very much different to different people, but a face is a unique identity. A person with a different face can have a same name. Like my name is Usman, so my face is different, and another person named Usman face will be different. So basically, when I will try to remember a specific Usman, it will come in my mind that which one he is when I see this person. So basically, I will not go into the further details. It is formation of mental visual images, and it is act of processing or interpreting the visual terms of putting into a more visible format. So when I am talking about name and face, so when you will see the face, you will try to make it more visible to link it back to the name. So name can be a form of data, and face can be a form of visual image. So combination of both becomes your data visualization. So the basic visualization goals are very much important. Like without them, we cannot move into the data visualization. So first of all, what we do, we record the information in form of some kind of drawings, some kind of blueprints, some kind of seismographs or photographs. Why we take photographs? Because we want to save our memories, we want to save our different scenes or movements, and we want to later see them that make us happy or sad. That depends on the situation. So first of all, what we do, we record that information, then we analyze that recorded information. Like if I have a picture of a certain space and it has some kind of proof, or it has some kind of important element, so later on what we can we can analyze that data to retrieve that on a certain date this thing was happened. So on that we can analyze the data, most importantly in space explorations, importantly in many different fields, to develop hypothesis or develop some visual exploration. That is important part of data visualization research. So basically we can use the analyzed data for developing and accessing our hypothesis. Then we can use that data to find different patterns and discover errors in data. Might be the picture depicts a different perception than the data. So what we can do, we can say that this picture or image is not related to a certain data. You are wrong, there are errors in this data. Like previously I told that it is not necessary that a data always make a histogram or a bar graph or a pie chart. It must have the required data attributes in it to make a certain graph. Then in the last part, like in the start I told you, we need to communicate that information to the others. We need to share and persuade that visual exploration. When we share our pictures to other person, that other person also perceive that picture in his mental format, and then he or she can perceive that what action was performed in this picture, what this person was doing. It can have a good impression, it can have a bad impression depending on the person mentality. So mentality can be different, but a picture cannot lie about any moment or any scene or anything that you have taken. So I have an example of different pictures from different topics, and I have given credit to all those one. So when we have a certain picture like from Leonardo da Vinci, we can see that the first of all it was drawing of different visual perceptions or images that we have now used in medical field, and it has benefited us a lot. Same like if we go on Galileo in 1616, we don't have the computers, but they have drawn the moon. They have drawn that how the phenomena of moon changing or darkness happening, all of this was happening. So they have done it through drawing it. And then we have another example of some kind of drawing from William Curtis said. So the important concept over here is that people in the past had used drawings to record that data. So these are done by the hand, but now we have computers and we can easily analyze that data. In the second format, if we move on into 1878, we can see that we have some kind of camera that can analyze different motion perspective. If we combine all of these, we can generate animation easily. So moving into the later technology, as technology moved on, technology improved, we had more resources to percept our or save our visualizations. Then if we move back again for the analysis, we had maps by hand. Now we have a Google map. It is very easy for us to analyze anything, but in the past how it was done, it was very difficult, it was very complex, and a person without proper knowledge cannot understand this visualization or analyze these visualizations. Similar like this one, we have maps of different routes, and we have bar chart. If you can see above, it was just hand drawn, and it was very difficult for those person to analyze large amount of data and then drawing them by hand. Even if you can try by drawing the visualization by hand, then you will know that how much difficult it was. Then the other purpose was the communication. Maps were used to communicate different things. If we talk about the Google Maps, or when we move up to in the later technology, what we can see that this is a map of a ghost map. This was used to tell that a certain place is not important to a person, a certain place is not a no-go zone, or it can be used to travel from red point to green point. So basically maps are the basics for the communication, same like the image or pictures. So the basic at this moment we have divided into three things. First of all, we record the information, then we analyze that information to interpret some kind of results, and then we communicate those results or information back to our user. This is another example of Napoleon March that will be discussed later, that how it is made. It is made of 3 different data types. Then we have London subway map. These are increasing in technology. Like previously, if you can see, this was 1869 and this is 1927. So when you will move up into the technology, like I have told, the maps were improved, the technology was improved, and it was easy for a person to use these maps for the communication. So when we have those maps, when we have the computer, I will talk a little about the past. We don't had a personal laptop or a personal computer in the past. So how they used to interact with that data or graph? We had bigger computers, we have this kind of mouse, we have different pen touch devices. So basically it was all black and white at this moment. So when we record, analyze and communicate with our data or with our visualization, what we are doing, we are interacting with our graph. Interaction is basically by touch, by hovering, by clicking, by selecting, anything related that can link back to your data or your visualization is in form of interaction. Then we have a very good example from New York Times. This is a person throwing a baseball. So that image, if you perceive in first time, what we'll see, the person is throwing a baseball to a player, but player is not available in this image. So from one image we can generate the story for a different scenario, but it is not necessarily that story will be correct. So basically visualizations are about to tell stories. The photos, the images we take, those tell stories. Similar like when we make visualization, they are to tell stories about the data, about the perspectives of a different person. So I have a example over here. If you have a tabular format of data, can you analyze which gender or income group level shows different effect on the age of cholesterol levels? Will it be easy for you? I will not be telling the answer of this above here. So what you have to do, you have to analyze this and you have to find out which gender or income level group shows different effects, and you can write in the comments or you can tell me back in the class. So above here I will stop, and then in the next one I will talk about the different terminology of data visualization. Thank you, and don't forget to like my channel or subscribe to it.